up, everybody? Aaron with Quality Service today. We're going to be going over how to replace your gas water heater. I'm going to go ahead and throw kind of a warning on this. If you're not familiar with gas, I don't suggest doing it. Leave it to the professionals. Gas can be extremely dangerous for multiple reasons. If you have a leak, it's a combustible. You could have something ignite. There's news stories all over. I've seen people install their own tankless water heaters, replace a water heater, and you get CO poisoning, carbon monoxide poisoning. It's the silent killer. People get headaches. There was a news article up north, I think it might have been Minnesota, somebody put in their own gas water heater and it killed both kids, the wife, and the dog. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but it's ultimately, if you don't have any experience, it's a good idea to not do it. But we'll go ahead and jump into this. Now that I said that, I don't recommend it if you're not working under a licensed professional or a professional is not taking a look at it when you get done. So we're going to jump right into this. The first thing you're going to do, you're going to turn your gas off. You're going to turn your gas off. So you're going to turn your gas off. You can turn your gas control valve to the off position. Be on the safe side there. You're going to go ahead, you're going to hook your garden hose up. Hook our garden hose up here. We're going to take a flathead screwdriver while the water pressure is still on. We're going to open our flow on the boiler drain, the hose connection. Once we hear it good and flowing and everything, we know we got all the sediment out of the bottom of it. We're going to reach back here and we're going to shut our water off. So water shut off, it's draining down. We're going to go ahead, while that's draining down, we can go ahead and disconnect our T&P pipe, our relief pipe. Take our relief pipe off. Set it to the side. We can pop our union on our gas line. Take that off. These plastic gas valves, these new gas valves, you should really be careful of. If you don't hold them, brace them, you know, they can bust. Take our dirt trap off here. Take our T off. Set that to the side. Take our little handy Milwaukee knife. Look, if you guys haven't seen this yet, it's got a little screwdriver with a 1/4-inch nut driver. It turns into a flathead or a Phillips. Pretty sweet little deal. I love this one. I don't know the actual name of it, but it's an awesome little box cutter. Got our insulation back there. comfort system on it. But we'll talk about that later on the video. So you're gonna make sure your water hose is going to a safe place. Check the end of it. Once it's drained down, you shake it a little bit, make sure it's totally empty. You grab your flathead, shut your hose back off. Alright, so we went ahead and got our vent disconnected. To get this out, sometimes if the vent won't go up and down, you gotta fold the legs out, pull it out. It's imperative you get the right size water heater, so when you put it back in, everything lines back up. This goes back to making sure we don't have carbon monoxide issues when we get done. So get it out of the way, you strip your insulation back, cut our water lines, hot and cold, make sure you cut it after the shutoff valve, otherwise you'll be getting wet. You're going to want a glove or a rag. If you're by yourself, I recommend getting some help with this, but don't grab the gas control valve. They do break, they're plastic these days. We're going to take our glove, or we're going to put a rag right here. We're just going to kind of put our arm behind it, get it eased off the stand. Alright, got the heater down. We're going to get this one prepped. I'm actually going to be putting this heater back in. I just wanted to show you basically start to finish how to do it. So I get this one prepped up and ready to go like it's a brand new heater, and we're gonna install it. Alright, we got this heater prepped to go back in almost like a brand new one out of the box. One thing you should know is these nipples in the top of the heater, they're galvanized. One of North Carolina's codes is you've got to have a dielectric connection. So brass connection, or what they call a dielectric union. Typically we use brass. Dielectric unions tend to corrode out real bad, cause dirty water. They're heat trap nipples. They have little rubber flaps inside them. You leave those flaps in there. You don't take them out. That helps hold the heat in the heater while it's just sitting. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing put together. Remember, gas water heater, it's got to have 6 inches hard pipe away from the vent. So you can't run PEX right to the top. We're going to go ahead and use brass. You can use copper. Brass is typically the more user-friendly, we'll say, way to put one of these in. Copper, definitely, I'm hardcore, old-school copper user. Brass can be pretty pricey, but it kind of weighs out install. Takes longer to put copper in if you're soldering it versus brass. Brass is more expensive, less install time. More, a lot more efficient. So we'll go ahead and get our brass fittings here. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll throw some negative tape on here, some thread tape. Do a couple rounds. These. Put some thread sealing on here. Good old regular seal number 5. Alright, since this has a vent, we've got to be able to fit an expansion tank on here too, so we're in the 90 right off the top of the heater. At least on this side. Nypex back out here. There's multiple ways you can do this expansion tank, depending on where your water line is. We can screw that T on here. We can put a 6-inch nipple here and a T here, or 90, I should say. Get 90 up, then another 6-inch nipple attached to your pipe, have your expansion tank sticking straight up there. You could also coupling nipple, T, expansion tank, nipple, adapter. The more fittings you use, you got to think this is probably about $70 of brass. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to screw our T on right here. Change how I wanted to do this. You just got to think of the most economical way you're going to do it as far as efficiency. Another nice thing about brass versus copper is if that expansion tank ever gets waterlogged or anything like that, you've got a nice little support system. Brass doesn't, brass will corrode, but lasts a good long time, most of the time longer than the heater's gonna help support it. If you're not using Nypex, I do recommend using a pipe wrench. Nypex kind of grab like a pipe wrench, so they work really good. We're gonna put some more thread tape on here. Prep this one. So one thing you want to keep in mind is when you're tightening these 90s up, don't stick the channel locks, the pliers in there. Don't grab it like this on these 90s to tighten them, because you can egg that. Super big issue. You'll egg it, you won't be able to get nothing in it. Alright, so if you choose to do copper off the top, like I said, it's got to be a dielectric connection. You can't screw copper straight to the top of the heater. You use brass coupling with male adapter. You pre-solder it, put that together, come off the top. You don't want to solder while it's Teflon and pipe thread sealant in there. You'll melt your connection. So go ahead and pre-solder. If you're coming off here with copper, pre-solder a 90 and the male adapter, and then when you solder your pipe on there, you can screw that together. Everything will be tight, no leaks. Then solder your copper out of the 90 once it's connected. So you'll want to go ahead and grab your glove or your rag. Get this heater back up here on the stand. Like I said, I recommend having 2 people. Right, so we'll go ahead, get our expansion tank done. You got to check your water pressure. This expansion tank needs to be the same amount as the house pressure. So you'll want to know what your house pressure is. Check your house pressure. Your bicycle pump, air compressor, set the same pressure in this expansion tank as the house pressure, and you shouldn't have any callbacks or issues. Right. So we're going to go ahead and connect our pipes. We got our 3/4 PEX crimpers here. I believe these are Suey Chief, pretty good crimpers. They've been about 80 bucks a pair, not too bad. Good practice is I want to put a cold shutoff valve on this so I can isolate the heater itself. If water heater ever has an issue, if I turn just this off, if I'm using a single handle faucet, water will come back out the cold side. So if I'm shutting the heater down and leaving it for the weekend or something like that, I won't have to cap that line. I can just shut this valve off and nobody will have an issue. So either a valve or you'll have to cut it off. Alright, so we got the water lines connected. Go ahead and we're going to connect the vent. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and connect our vent. Got our vent shroud here. We went ahead and bent the legs. Go ahead and bend the legs back out if we don't have a whole lot of movement in the top vent here. So we can just slide this thing right up underneath. One leg at a time. Pop that down, put our screws back in. Alright, so we got our vent connected. We're going to go ahead and get it insulated up right quick. So we got our thick wall insulation. You can't use the Lowe's insulation on this stuff. It's got to be the thick wall, 1 inch thick wall. So this is 7/8 inside, 1 inch wall diameter. Typically not stuff you buy at a box store. To make our 90s, we're going to cut this at a 45. to make our insulation look pretty here, especially if, you know, somebody's paying us to do this job. We want it to look good. Got a little indentation for our shutoff valve. We don't want to put too much insulation right up against that vent. It'll melt anyway. So we definitely don't want to do that. Cut a hole for our expansion tank connection. So we got all our insulation on there. We're gonna go ahead and use black duct tape. Just looks a little better. We're gonna seal our joints up. If you have any exposed joints, if you're getting it inspected, it will fail inspection. So we got all the water lines insulated up, sealed up. Got all our joints sealed up and everything, got our vent connected. We're gonna go ahead and attach our gas line. Now, go ahead and put the dirt trap back on there. All right, so you can do any size nipple coming out. Remember, you can't have your drip leg, you can't be flowing through. You have to be flowing against. So you can have any size nipple, just this dirt trap needs to be here before it goes into the heater. I don't recommend using thread tape on gas. It's just, it used to not be legal. I think that particles can come apart in there, go into the gas line. We're going to leak test it anyhow. Typically just some rector seal on there a little bit. Remember, hold your gas valve. It'll be a little difficult. These plastic gas valves do not like pressure. Now this flare fitting here, I like to put a little rector seal on that flare, just to help seal it up. Remember, you got to have a union after your shutoff valve. You can't have a union here and then your shutoff valve. You have to have a way to disconnect the appliance. Get it inspected, it will fail inspection. The guy coming behind you will not like you. Has to shut the whole gas meter off to disconnect it. That's pointless. Thread sealant on there. Now, one of the good practices to do, and you're going to smell gas when you do this, but if you're working with like a flex connect and the gas valve's back there, go ahead and leave this a little loose. Turn your gas on, crack this out, bleed the air out. Smell gas, go ahead and tighten it up. If you don't get the air out, you'll be here all day long trying to get this gas valve to light. All right, so we got our gas on. Need to go ahead and put some thread sealant on the TMP pipe. Remember, this needs to be piped down 4 to 6 inches. If we're using PEX, we got to strap it at the bottom. I don't recommend doing that. So CPVC or copper looks a lot better too. You want to do a good quality job, especially if you're getting paid to do it. Got that tightened up. Now is what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to kick our water on. We'll go ahead and kick the water on here. All right, so we bubble checked our gas line. Don't use Dawn dish detergent or nothing like that. Get a bubble tester that's made for gas. So that's on that. We got the water heater filling now. We use Mega Bubble, pretty good stuff. While that's filling, we can light the pilot. We just can't turn the burner on. So we're going to look in the little glass door. We're going to hold this button in while it's on pilot, and we're going to snap this. When we see a flame, count to 30 or 40 or wait till the light starts flashing. So light's flashing. It's good to go. The pot light's lit. We got our heater filling up. I'm gonna go ahead and let air out. All right, so once it's filling up, you'll see a little bit of water coming out of there. You'll shut it off. Go open a hot side on a faucet, on a bathtub. You don't want the screen to get clogged up. You'll have a bunch of air, probably a little bit of dirty water come out for about 30-45 seconds. Shut that off. Your heater's already heated up, or your heater is full. You're gonna go ahead and you're gonna kick this to hot, which is 120 degrees on this style. You can look at your instruction manual. Sometimes A is 120. And in about 30-45 minutes, you'll be totally hot. Make sure you take a rag, wipe all your bubble mess off, and clean your joints up. You know, if somebody's paying you to do this, you want to make sure you do a really pretty job. Go ahead and write the install date or put a service sticker on it. Make sure that everybody knows when things were serviced, what was done, the TNP was replaced. Future homeowners, it's really good when somebody buys a house, they know what's been done to an appliance. One other thing that unfortunately I don't have with me is make sure you insulate your expansion tank. The expansion tank should be insulated. If it's getting inspected in a garage, you know, if it's in a crawl space, in a closet, in an attic, even in an attic, it really needs to be done. But in a garage, the expansion tank needs to be insulated. TNP, 4 to 6 inches from the ground, set at 120 degrees. All right, again, this is Aaron, Quality Service Today Plumbing out of Mebane. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, make sure you like, send me a message, share the video with your friends. Have a great day.